Well, first of all, I'm Lucinda Oakley Ogle. I married an Ogle, but my mother was an Ogle that lived at this house. And I used to come and stay with Granny. And of course, I'll be 76, my birthday, and that's been long memories. And when I come back here, I always tease people and say they're walking with my memories. And then this dress that I have on, we've made and using in our bicentennial because we are 200 years old this month. We were.
That was March 31st,
no, it's
right?
March the 31st.
March the 31st,
That's
right.
Uh-huh. It's awful close to the 1st of April,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
pretty close. Now, how old is this place?
Oh, let's see. It'd be about 150 years old, I
150
suppose.
years old.
Because my grandfather brought his bride here, and he built this is the first part where I'm sitting.
Uh-huh.
And as the family grew, they built another log house just here, and with a little dog trot across from that. And when Granny would send us, there's a bee of gnats after my eyes. When Granny would tell the children, we called it this house and the t'other. So you'd go into the other house to bring something to her from over in the other place.
Well, there were two different families living in the...
Oh, no.
Well, they just
but when the
expanded.
family grew longer, see, my mother was born and raised here. And then after my grandfather died, then I'd come, and all the children were married off, then I'd come and spend the night with my grandmother and have all sorts of playhouses. And there was a big apple tree, the best apples, but before they'd get ripe, I would be eating little green apples. And I've laid right along here with a tummy ache many of a time, sneaking green apples. Maybe keep Granny awake at night.
About what year would that have been when you eat little green apples?
Well, I was born in 1909, so I expected to be about 1914, wouldn't it? Long Now, I stayed with her more when I was 6 and 7 and 8 years old. Because then Wiley Oakley is my father, and Rebecca Ann Ogle was my mother that lived here. And we had a little house farther up, and I'd go up there every morning, and then I'd come back at night, or I'd play along out through the flats here. And there was a big old shed that they kept the crib, and it overhung, and there was a sled under there, and I had a playhouse in there. So we were all, and then there's so many cousins and kinfolks that you never were lonely. They'd come up to Granny's too, and we'd all be playing, and in that old sled sometimes we'd have a country store, and then other times we'd have a whole meeting and revival, and the kids would get religion, and we'd take them back to the creek, and the biggest one would baptize us. So we must have been pretty good kids. We were baptized so many times.
Well, what is this house made out of? What kind of wood is it?
It's mostly these big tudor poplars. There's a few left around, standing close by that only they were larger than these. And then back of the house here was the chestnut orchard. And if you go back through there now, you'll see the remains of those big old whopper chestnut trees. And as soon as the mountain wind would quit blowing in danger of limbs, then we'd be out there picking up chestnuts. Those were what we bought our winter shoes from. They'd send them into Knoxville to the market by a peddler, and then we'd have new shoes.
How great.
If you picked them up.
Come on in. We're just chatting.
You look awfully pretty sitting there. Are you Grandma Ogle?
I'm Grandma Ogle's daughter.
No kidding?
Yeah, granddaughter.
How lovely.
I used to sleep here. Like George Washington slept here, I did too. He didn't sleep here,
but you did.
I did. And I loved you'll find I love the mountains anyway. I'm sort of a wild woman, as the saying is, but it's a different kind of wild. And I hope you enjoy your visit here as much as
we've loved this cabin for years. This is
ask me questions about it. This is your chance. Find out about it.
Because I need to ask questions because I don't know what you want to
Because
know.
I'm asking too. You ask questions too.
You
If
wanna
I
know
love
what
this
I
place.
wanna know.
I've videotaped this place in the winter with snow everywhere, and I just love it too.
Yeah.
And I had not really thought of your connection with this, so I'm real glad that you know something about it.
Yes.
So tell us everything about it.
Oh, I come back here to meditate, as the fella said. And the little walk, the little path, you've done that too. And right now the trilliums are in beautiful blue. In a few more days they'll be pink. I like them when they're pink, but that means they'll soon be gone.
Yeah.
That's grandiflora. Oh yeah, and that made me think. We had our own common names, which were prettier, really, than botanical or scientific names. But that's what I used to tell with Dad. We had one shrub that he called Hearts a Bustin' with Love. And he was the one that named it. And we kids, 12 of us in the family, helped broadcast the name of it to the tourists. See, I'll be 76, my birthday, so it was a long time ago this happened, before you had videotape
Right.
or anything.
Exactly.
And it was like I told Lou Bolton, the man there, we didn't ever have a long enough day to get all the playing in and all the work we had to do. We'd have to do our little crops. Now, Granny had a garden along here, back up above the old road. The old road went along here, close by. And that's where the big apple tree was, along there. And then my grandfather, when he was living, had bees up above the road. And we had her sweetening. And that was much better because I still have most of my tea. And I think sweet is what gets children to tea.
Was that Tub Mill run by your family?
Yes, and Granny used to send me back down there. When she'd think to turn a corn, she'd take a little toll dish full out. If a neighbor or somebody brought the corn in to be ground, she'd take a little toll dish full out. And then after the time she thought it'd be, depend on the side how the river was, or I mean the little creek was running. Well, then she'd send me to shut it down. All you had to do is pull that long pole, and it would drop in there, and then the water would run the way. And sometimes with that little wheaty wet, even sound, I'd go to sleep up there. And she said, "You better not go to sleep and let that rocks run on the dry, because if they do this, grit from the stones would get in your meal." Well, if I did and wake up, I'd get a little paddle and take that paddle, the meal paddle, and I'd take it out and pour it down the middle race so I wouldn't get paddled. So I wouldn't get paddled with it.
That's great.
And then she'd say, "And don't you play in that meal." Well, I'd use that little old paddle and play in that meal, and I'd put it up in that race and make it fall back so it wouldn't show. That's better than playing the sandbar.
So that's the original mill that you're...
Too dirty. I mean, I didn't make it dirty. They baked it and showed
You ate it and you're still living, so it must have not been too bad for you.
play in the meal.
How were these rooms arranged?
There was, this first room had four beds. The one over the fireplace with a little window was Granny's. Well, my grandfather, too, when he was living. He died rather young, but I always thought maybe he lifted too many big logs to build in the houses with his boys. But, and then the boys slept upstairs. Not upstairs, it was a loft.
Well, there is one on this side, isn't there?
They slept in the loft, the boys did, and they had a company bed back in the kitchen.
Now the kitchen was...
You'll have to remind me to tell you Dad's courting table.
Which is the kitchen?
That over there.
The t'other side?
The t'other house was a kitchen.
So this was beds, and this was the family dining, eating.
Little old step stove there. Well, sometimes they cooked on a fireplace with an oven, but there was a little step stove there, and behind that stove was, now see, I'm reminiscing, was a gourd with salt in it, Back then it was sort of a coarse salt, and you'd put a dib of this and a dib of that in cooking close by. And Granny, though, my grandfather had half the water, or no, he didn't. He put it in a trough down back to the back. And this, something similar to this, was a double sink, like this. Used where the water poured into the little place there.
So this is the actual double sink that was in that
It's
t'other
not
house.
the one.
It's not the one.
It's a near, I tried to tell him how it was made, but that's a replica of it, similar.
Yeah.
And the water was piped in those little wooden troughs. He drew out the troughs, and then they get so pretty and mossy. And on a cold day or a hot day, you could go out there and put your feet in that branch, and you really would hop about. It was so cold.
Yes. How about in the winter? You had a fireplace in each one. How was it? Was it exceptionally cold?
No.
No?
I don't think so. I think you sort of adjusted to it. Maybe Granny gave us something to make us healthy so we didn't notice it.
Yeah.
But what I want to tell you about Dad's courting tale, he tells it, but now you don't have to believe it if I yodel. He said that he came courting Mom, and they put him in, you know, and the cracks, the snow was sifting in on him a little bit, and he reached over and put his pants in that crack. And the next morning, he got down for his pants, and there stood the old cow with just the galluses hanging out her mouth. Old lady. My father was a case. Everybody talks about him, don't they, Wiley Oak?
Yes, yes,
He really helped with the park to make this a park, because he'd go take people, the men like Colonel Chapman and Willis Davis and his wife, and he'd take them, and then the guide, the guide, Henry Ford, and real noted people trying to get the money. And then I have to tell this one. One time, well, all the children would have to give some money. So I said, and I saw...
Now, this is when they were collecting money for the park, right? They collected money from school children.
To take care of that. But Dad, they put it in the paper, Wiley had give $25. So there's 12 of us kids. So I jumped on Dad. I said, Dad, you had no business giving that much. He said, that little mischievous twinkle coming in his eyes, and he said, Lucinda, don't fret. So the men gave it to me to give. See, he was just trying to bait them, so they'd think if Wiley with 12 kids could give $25, everybody else ought to do something.
Right.
But oh, are we tickled that the Smoky Mountain National Park was established, because just look what condominiums and what would have been built here, and you couldn't have come along here meditating like I can.
No.
And you couldn't, well, you just simply get with nature here.
Yeah, I'm proud to live in this area and have it available for everybody to come and enjoy.
And that's what I
It seems like there's some awful thing about taking your home away from you, though.
Well, naturally we wanted what we had always had. You had to give up what you were used to. But that's what I say about the people that have moved here. There's 300 retired citizens in our club, and you know, in the group. We call it not senior citizens, we're retarded. No, we're
retarded or retired?
I tease and say retarded. But anyway, they're the nicest people you'd ever see in the world. Anybody that would pull up their stakes somewhere else and come to these mountains and live here and never go back and get homesick or anything else. We take these trips, bus trips, and see, like Dad, I'm telling you that when you get old enough, try just to come back and live amongst us.
It's a great place.
and then we like Lou Bowden here too, because he's already with us. I'll tell you what I've already decided.
What?
He's one of my grandsons. I adopted.
Oh, good.
I didn't have any boys, so my grandsons I'm partial to.
Do you have brothers or sisters?
There's 12 of us.
12?
There's 7, let's see, 8 boys and 4 girls.
And where are they now? How many are living?
10 of us are still living.
10? Wow.
2 live in Detroit, 1 lives in Biloxi, Mississippi, and the rest of us migrated back home. Only I stayed here. You couldn't run me off.
Yeah, I can't imagine moving to Missouri or Wisconsin.
In the winter, we'd go to Florida for vacation, and 3 weeks would do me. I was homesick. I'd go singing as we go marching through Georgia when they get back halfway up through there.
If you don't have any questions, this is her grandparents' homestead. Do you have any questions about
it?
Please ask her.
Was your dad and the Wileys that had the Wileys thing down in Gatlinburg years ago where they had entertainment?
You sure are right, and I'm just a chip off the old block.
Okay.
He's my father.
We used to go there when we came down.
Did you remember that?
Yeah.
And I lived just a little ways down the road there. I had spinning wheel shop, and I did weaving and made things
we
to
remember
sell.
that.
And I always teased, and I'd tell people that I'd put it in the poke so they could tote it better.
This was back in the 50s.
Yeah, it was in the 50s.
There was
In
big
the
change
50s.
since then.
Yeah.
But wasn't that a
That was
treasure
real.
to know?
Oh,
Yeah.
there was only one candy store.
Oh, yes. Okay, see now, you got baptized into liking it here.
We surely have.
I bet you put in the water
Why, sure.
sometime or other.
Right.
And you might be, what is it, foot washing?
Foot washing mattress.
Now, we remember the old town, before it got all built up.
Yeah, but don't feel bad about it.
No, no.
It made it easier life for us
right.
mountain people.
We keep coming back.
Keep coming back, and then
Yeah, see? And I love you for that, too.
Fortunately, there's still things like this to come back to.
Yeah. Yes, that's what we'd all better say a little prayer about.
Mm-hmm.
That somebody was, is it called, farsighted enough to save it for our children and grandchildren.
Mm-hmm. That's for
Because
sure.
just yesterday, I brought my nephew and his 3 children from Detroit, from that, from one of the brothers that lived there. And they just had a ball all the time. And I just loved every minute of it.
I'm still rolling, so you just go right ahead and I'm still taking pictures.
Do they still have any of that entertainment around?
A few places, but you just almost have to know, and really, they haven't started up much yet.
Yeah.
As the fellow said, I don't like it when they get too loud to band drums and what like that with it. Because that didn't belong. That didn't
Picking on the
belong.
banjo, those guys really had a lot of
And
fun.
do a little buck and wing and that little
Do you do any of that?
Hmm?
You do any of that? Bucking way?
Not anymore, but I could have.
Uh-huh.
Square dancing. Did you ever go to the square dances? They still have them occasionally. We had Grady's right over from us, and of course my children, my 2 daughters were the ages to go there when they first started it, so they really had a good time.
Was that old dancing mostly for men? I tend to associate.
Well, the buck dancing is for men,
Uh-huh.
and you still have, but the women are taking it up just like they are with clogging.
Oh, yeah, over at Cades Cove when they have Old Timers Day. You see couples bucking wing, yeah.
Buck and wing and clog, and the clog also.
Uh-huh, right.
But I was always partial to folk dancing and what you call it? Sometimes
Circle dance, square dance?
Well, square dance.
Uh-huh.
That was partial.
Was there, where did
That's
you do
more,
that sort
more
of
like
thing?
playing the game.
Where did you square dance? At church picnics or in your front porch? Or?
Well, that happened, more of that happened. And now, like here, somebody would come in and play the fiddle, and we'd sing, and then somebody would buck dance for us. Or some of the little kids would try.
You'd be your own entertainment.
We never were without some sort of entertainment. And then Dad used to tell, oh yeah, I got to tell another one of Dad. I bet you remember it. This is his snake tail. He was going up the mountain one day and he heard a noise up above. And he looked and there come a rattlesnake down that mountain, and it was coming so fast it was setting it afire. On fire. I wondered what in the world he'd do about that fire. And about that time another one came up the mountain and it was sweating, so it's putting it all out. Oh, lady. You remember Dad used to yodel?
Oh, he would tell a tale and then yodel after.
You know, if you didn't have to believe it unless you wanted to. So I'm Dad today. I play like I'm Dad. I have a lot of it. He could tell them right on, couldn't he? Sure could.
When did he pass away?
Oh, was it 45, 54, 45? It's just along about, when did the boys come home from service? That's when.
That would have been late 40s, wouldn't it? Or 40s? 45?
It's 45, that's when he died. He died
Oh,
that
really?
year.
I didn't realize it was that long.
Ernest came home, World War II.
Because his reputation
My
is
husband
still
was
very
Ernest
strong.
Ogle, and I teased, and now they already have this on one tape, that when I met Ernest, he came across out of the Sugar Land, and I lived a little farther. Our parents, Dad did at that time, before we had to give our homes up in 20, about 26. but they'd let the older ones live on. But anyway, I said we'd seen a bear at our milk gas, and this handsome guy come up the door and said, "Why did we heard there was you'd seen a bear here, and we wanted to know where he'd seen it." And I said, "Well, it went off up towards Bullhead there, in Bullhead Mountains." And Ernest now come hunting a bear and found a deer, and that was deer meat.
Dear little you.
And there, now don't you? I had an argument with my nephew yesterday. He says we say bar. I said, no, we don't say bar. I say and I said, you say bar. That's a bar where you go drink beer or whiskey. And we say bear, like bare naked. I believe we do say bear, don't I?
Yeah.
I don't say bar.
No.
I told him he said beer. I told my nephew he said beer. Now you say it.
I say bear.
Oh, you say beer.
No, I say bear.
You say bear like bare naked, huh?
You say it slightly different than I do, but we
I
say
know.
it fairly close.
I know. I'm just. Yeah, aren't you through with me?
Oh, no.
To do you? That's enough
What
to
time
do.
you have?
2 or 3 months, isn't it?
3, about 2 minutes past 3.
No, that's before. You just haven't changed your time here.
That's right.
It's close to 4, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're still okay on time. We got a little bit more time.
A little bit more
A
time.
little bit more
What
time.
else do you want?
Oh, what else can we talk about here? What else
That's
about
enough.
this house?
That's enough to you 30 minutes.
What about this house?
Oh, are you going back to the house?
Well, I'm just wondering if we covered it all.
I think we did.
Think we did? Is it basically the way it was, or did they have to rebuild anything on it?
It's just exactly
The way
like
it
it
was.
was, except on the back porch they turned the planks the wrong way.
Yeah, I noticed that. They turned them
Now
that
that
way.
wasn't sensible,
Why is that?
because you could take up if this
Right.
got rotten, I could take up one little plank.
Right.
Back there, you're going to have to take one the whole 50.
I wondered about that.
And then another thing, if the wind blows rain in on it, it washes back off down the plank.
Right.
Over there, it's going to sit on that plank rod.
Yeah, so the park did that?
They didn't ask me.
They must not ask anybody. It just didn't make
They
sense.
should ask me. I
Yeah,
should go.
for sure. Huh.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I think life's too loud.
You-
Have a good time.
Do you need your Coca-Cola? Are you getting dry?
No, I don't.
You're fine?
Yeah, I could. You want something too? And they said, what this? They put the coffee in. I said, oh, don't put the coffee in. I'm catching moonshine. So it can sell it better.
Mm-hmm. Did any of your family make moonshine?
No, they sort of died in the wool Baptist. But I
Mhm.
had plenty of kinfolks that did.
Mm-hmm. So it was against their religion to...
Yeah, we had to go to that little... If I didn't go to school, I had to go... You can tell I haven't gone to school much. But we had a little school down here for 3 months out of the year.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to back up a little bit to what we were talking about in the Jeep. This community, this place where Jungle Brook is now. Oh, first of all, where did the name come from?
We didn't name it Jungle Brook. Some people came here with an orchard.
Mm-hmm.
We just called it going back through the flats or through the chestnut orchard.
Mm-hmm. So Jungle Brook came later, after the
Later.
park took it over?
And then now they don't call it Jungle
No, they
Brook.
don't.
They call it the Noah Bud Ogle place because it's more authentic.
Mm-hmm. So Noah Bud Ogle was your grandfather?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's my grandfather and a dear little old soul.
Mm-hmm.
He used to trot me on his knees and tell me I was going to be his little cook. And of course, I just eat all that up and loved it, loved him.
Mm-hmm.
And Granny would say, I think you like her better than you do your other grandchildren. He'd say, well, you'll just have to guess.
Mm-hmm. Where did you come in the 12 children?
I'm the second one down, and I'm the daughter. I said they born me for a slave.
Yeah, the older kids always have more work to
Always
do,
had to
take care
I
of
had a
things.
baby on my hip,
Yeah.
falling around after. doing things and taking care of the other children.
And this cabin was, tell us about this whole community. There was more than one of these around.
But we
Tell
were
us
all
about it.
related. Just like I said about do you want me to tell you about
Yeah,
Fishing John?
just talk about
talking about Fishing John?
Well, tell us about the community. Tell us that this wasn't the only house. There were a lot more around in their family.
But they were all about half a mile apart or a mile
just start
apart.
telling me from the beginning, as if if I didn't know a thing about it. Okay. Okay. Now, anytime.
There was quite a few people lived here, although they were isolated. You could still hear the roosters crowing and the cowbells, and but we were all related. A good many of them were. We had different names, because you'd marry somebody that had a different last name, and that introduced a little new blood. But I got into it lately. I said it was a good thing the park came, and so my children could get new blood, and we wouldn't all be half-wits like me. so somebody called me up. Hey, you understand we didn't marry our kinfolks. I said, if you was a Sevier County and you did, because we was all related. Because I've done genealogy work and I know about it.
Mm-hmm.
There was 5 brothers came with their mother with an ogle, and 2 daughters that were married. One was still Carter, and one was, there was only king in there soon, but it was Whaley. So yeah, McCarter and Whaley, and then the Ornbys married the Whaleys, and so there they all akin, and naturally, if they had the same grandfather way back there that I did, we had to be akin.
Mm-hmm.
And that was true about, but everybody helped everybody else. It's just like Herb Glabo says, if somebody was sick, they'd go hoe his corn and cut his wood and do things like that, and then to help them until it was better. And then they always took care of each other. It was like one great, enormous family.
Well, it really was. If you were all related in some way, you helped one another out.
But you did. Now, I didn't think I was a bit akin to Ernest. He was a Sugarland ogle, and I was a Bullhead ogle. I lived over. No, I wasn't. I was Oakley, but my mother was a Bullhead ogle, because Bullhead Mountain's right up back of us here. I always tease Dick Whaley and tell him.
That's the mountain that we can see up there.
And I used to tease Dick Whaley. You know, he does a lot. Did real estate through the years, and I always tease Dick Whaley and tell him he's a bullheaded ogle, because he was bullheaded Whaley, because he used to live right under Bullhead over there. And his parents did. Because they soon moved out to Gatlinburg.
Well, where did the Oakley family come from?
We're from England. And the Ogles, they were sort of Scotch-Irish and mixed, though, I think, because, and we have a black Dutch grandmother in there, and she believed in Christmas trees, and that was handed down through our family.
What do you mean, believe in Christmas trees?
They see that in Germany, black Dutch, it's a German Dutch, and she was, that was where the Christmas tree started.
Oh, you mean she brought the custom of having a Christmas tree at Christmas?
Yes. And we always had a Christmas tree. Don't matter how poor your house was, or family, or how anything. And like my cousin said, they'd always work real hard the day before Christmas so they could go to where we had the Christmas tree. We'd have a little Christmas tree up in the corner, and then they'd hear Wiley tales. And of course, usually on Christmas, Dad would tell better stories to us or make up ballads. But he was always, like these people that were talking a while ago, he always had make-believe with his life, and that made us children with make-believe life. And you didn't miss anything, because you didn't know any other life. If we knew a different life, you'd probably been unhappy, wouldn't we?
Well, actually, children today, their minds and imagination are stimulated by movies and TV and all, but the tales and all that your daddy told you, that's what stimulated your imagination and fantasy world, like you say.
And even today, I like to make something out of nothing, just like that little pig
we're picking the boat, right? That's right. Well, you were telling us about this community, and you were saying that there are It was one big happy family. About how many homes were around here, and what you told me about the church and school. Tell me about what the different family houses were.
The most of them, well, there was quite a few that as soon as sawmills came in here, they built them out of weatherboarding, you know, rough lumber, and some hand. Now, my grandfather Oakley had a big, so I'll call it a gingerbread kind of a house, weatherboarded with all the little turkeys and things. But this grandfather, I always loved his. It was more homey. This was built out of logs.
They have glass in the windows.
Well, that came later. Big, because it was just one little window there, and I used to have all sorts of imaginations about what there was across all those mountains. And like Dad used to say, how far does those mountains last like that? He said they just keep on keeping on when you look out over a top.
So when you were a little girl here, there was just a little hole in the wall for a window.
Yeah, and there was one by the bed, and people would think you was crazy for setting your hen on that porch in that little place. But that kept the fox from getting her and getting the babies. So she'd keep it there until they were hatched, and then she'd put them in coops where the fox couldn't reach in and get them, because we had wild animals, we had snakes, and we had weasels. But I often wonder how in the world Mom and Dad raised 12 kids up here, and we always had a little dog, though. Maybe that's who I should give credit for watching over us. We always had a little feist, they call it, dog, and it had a bark that if it saw a snake, and then Mom would come and shoot it. She used her gun and went out and killed the snake for us. But I think you're born with watching.
With watching?
As you step.
Oh,
That they instill it into our minds that we must watch for things. But I'm not scared of a snake now if I see it first. As long as I see it first. I sure don't like to jump over one.
No.
But they're not. If you're going to make yourself miserable, though, you just might as well crawl in the hole.
Right.
If
Exactly.
you're looking for something to hurt you or bother you.
I agree with you 100%.
You just watch it, pray, say a little prayer. God will take care of you.
Right. Go with an optimistic view that things are going to be okay.
And you never see them.
Right.
If you get watching for something,
you'll find it.
It'll be there. It won't go away, will it?
So you think the park added these windows later then?
No, I think the people that's with the orchard, Cherokee
The
Orchard
orchard people.
Company, put them in there.
Uh-huh.
Larger.
Well, so it was just a hole. There was no glass back
Yes,
in there.
there was a little bit of glass, but I don't know how they... Well, they would go take chestnuts and things and go to Knoxville, and things began to come in early, because I remember it had 4 panes, at least, the one that was there. I think they made it a little larger.
I see.
But, because I'd lay in that bed and look out and watch the sky and the clouds. You know, you can spend a lot of time watching the clouds come up over the mountain and move on across.
Right.
And I can see all sorts of things in them. Can you?
Charlie Brown can, too.
And just lie on your back, and there'll come a angel with wings, or there'll come a big old gruff-looking something across, and that's a little storm a-coming. And then the next thing that storm goes by, it's so pretty. Washes everything clean.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's a beautiful world to live in.
Especially this world.
This world.
Yes, this place is particularly pretty.
Well, I find beauty a lot of places. It's because I think it's your attitude a lot of
It is. Yeah.
I almost preach, couldn't I?
Yeah.
You can find beauty a lot of places.
It is. Like you say, it's sort of what's in your mind and what you want to see. I think so. How about this barn? Is it original barn?
Yes, it is. And it makes a good... See, my grandfather made the locks and the hinges. He was an artist, really. You could be an artist at a lot of things, I found out. Everything was made with an artist's hand. That he, made the furniture and the beds and the turned spokes and things. Of course, that was with a homemade lathe. And then but up at the barn, he'd used what he had around him. He'd whittle his troughs out for the stocks, eating troughs. And then he made wooden wooden hinges that I have to go up to every time I come here, I have to go up there to those barns, and I was trying this door in here, see if it squeaked a while ago, but somebody's greased it.
It does. Oh.
They put some towel or something.
I thought it still squeaked.
No, it didn't squeak.
Uh-huh.
But the one at the barn does.
Uh-huh.
I was just telling my grandchildren about it, nephews the other day.
What do you remember of the furniture inside this room? What was
There
in
wasn't much furniture. A lot of things were hung on the wall. We always say a little poke of this and a dab of this and a dab of that, hanging their seeds and things that she'd use to make her medicines. She was sort of a doctor, like, you know, well, she was really what we call the granny woman, the midwife. Hello. Hope you enjoy. I was born and raised here. Here? I wasn't born here, but I was raised here most of the time. My grandmother lived longer than my grandfather. So we would stay with her. And that's why we lived a little farther up. But after he died, I'd come spend the night with him. Oh, I just thought that was a treat.
Is this the original place
Every
where the
bit
house
of it.
was?
Every bit is original. It's been restored, you know, put new shingles on, and a few things had rotted down before they decided to keep it. And, oh, am I glad they kept it. Because I come up out these and say I meditate.
It's
And then, you know, and every bit of it is done by hand. That's what we was thinking. My grandfather and his son, and he built a little house we call the winter cabin at the back. See, the one, and they could live there a year. Or if another one, or maybe until another son married. And then he had to move on and let the next.
Oh, that was what gave him a start.
That was the start.
Right. Well, so in this room there are mostly beds.
Mostly beds.
Whether there's any place to put clothes, or a little chest, or tables.
No, you just didn't need much clothes. You just need some good sturdy clothes for a change, maybe 3 or 4 changes in case you got wet. And we didn't think of, and the Sunday clothes. They always had their Sunday best, but they put them off quick as they came from church. And they used that same old black bonnet and that old black dress. Granny had. She was like me, she loved blue. And my granny was named Lucinda, but they called her Cindy. And then I had 2 cousins that were Lucinda. One of them was Lou and one was Cindy. So they must, the early settlers, especially the Ogles, always named one of the children after each other. Because I've been doing genealogy and I found that's how you can trace them down. You find that same old name cropping up. And of course we have I don't know where, the Ogles had a castle in England. They really, and we belonged to aristocrats. But how we got here in this Shangri-La country, I wonder.
So you don't know?
No,
you know,
I haven't found out why we came here. But they might have done just like me. Some of my ancestors found it, and then they just fell in love with it, and they stayed on. Kept staying on.
So you don't know if the family lived in one state and then moved here, or just came directly here?
Well, they came. They were, in the early days, people were moving west all the time. And they must have liked it because they just decided they got, or they couldn't get out. They might have got over the mountains, over the and down the mountains here, and decided that they found enough rich soil and plenty of game, and good clear water, and so, and it smelled good too. It still does up here, don't it? You don't smell some gas fumes today, do we?
Not out here
I think
yet.
that wind's blowing it away, don't you?
I hope so. I'm afraid it might plague us some more, but hopefully not.
No, I guess we'll just hope.
So I'm trying to picture in my head this room, and I see some beds, and I see some pegs on the wall to hang things.
There was pegs.
Was it pegs that I
The gun was
the gun?
on pegs. That was one of the essentials.
Well, you had to change from winter to spring clothes, so summer clothes, so where were those clothes kept? In a chest or something?
In the chest under the bed.
Under the beds.
Those little tiny trunks, I call them. And then, of course, in that middle in the room there, under the middle bed, was a trundle bed. Sometimes that's likely, if there's a lot of people.
What were the beds like?
Most of them were straw ticks or till earlier. Now, my ancestors not going to like, the ones still living, not going to like me tell that.
Why?
Well, some.
That's the way it really was.
Yes, the way it was.
Yeah. They can't fault that, can they? No, not at all.
But you were used to it, and I think it made straighter back some. Hope I'm not on it.
So you probably had a chair or two in there for sitting around the fireplace?
We had enough chairs for everybody. Just go and hunt another one out of the back room.
How about this other room? That was the kitchen, eating,
there
dining?
There were chairs around the table. There were chairs like this little one I'm sitting on.
So you had you cooked in the fireplace? How was that? How was the kitchen?
In the beginning they did, but in later years they had what we call a little step stove. It would go up, and then you had the 4 eyes. You know, you had the little hearth that came out where you sit stuff to keep
from the fireplace
on the stove.
On the stove.
And then you came up one step, and that's why we call it a step stove. 2 steps up. You had your 4 eyes were on different levels.
And it was a wood burning stove, I'm sure.
Yeah, they burned wood. It burned wood, and that was handier to bake bread and things. But I liked the oven bed, bread the best where Granny baked in the fireplace, by the front of the fireplace over the coals. And she'd bake sweet potatoes in that.
Yeah. And so there was a stove or an oven, and then there was a table and chairs. Were there cabinets to put dishes in?
Had corner cupboards. I know she had one, and it seemed like she had one that was pie cupboard that she had square. And then all of the perishable food was put up in the little spring house in crocks.
Well, the barn.
Right. Oh, it's up right up through that little place in there. Dug out up high where nothing.
Oh.
My nephew just said he just found that spring the other day, but the little
that
spring
little
house
hole in
is
the
gone.
rocks up there?
There was sort of where you see the little, it comes right out of the rock. Of course, it hadn't been taken care of.
It was cool.
Crawfish or something has changed the course of the spring, and there may not be as much water coming.
But being
you
cool.
can come on in.
Oh, come on, sure. What time do you have, sir?
We didn't know if you were recording what you
We
said.
are. 4:26. Thank you. This is
I'm waiting for that, and so he's taking for our own channel 8.
Oh,
And I'm trying to record some people's memories, I guess you saw.
you all called us out.
Oh, no.
Oh,
No, I was just brought out here. I was just brought out here little while, but I could stay here half the time to help people. You, that's what it's here for. It's your Parker's room is mine now, but you can be mine. You folks didn't come in and look. Don't pass up to look at it. Don't log cabin. I would think maybe you wouldn't come because you did.
no, we looked.
That's right, you did. You didn't go the whole time, did you?
No, we went to see the barn. That's it.
There's a kid. But next time you come, go after the little gristmill.
okay. I tell you, go out on the other porch, and then walk back, and then come out on this porch. Okay, come on back in.
Okay, look up see if it's gonna come or rain. I'll tell you something else later.
Tell me now.
You still want me to?
Sure.
Oh, I've already talked out.
Oh, I don't think you ever talked out.
I'm just about it.
Okay, well, I don't want to overtire you.
Do they sleep upstairs?
The boys did. They had a little, in that little place. See, that other door opens there. And there's a little ladder like that they'd climb up there and sleep when too many people were here. There was a lot of beds in this one room, so it was a really cozy, loving family.
I'll bet.
That's what I say. You know, everybody loved everybody else. We were all around the mountain cherry. We're all one big family.
That's great.
And most everybody is kin.
Is that right?
If they're natives, that's a good idea. If you don't want ask them if they're native. I just asked if they're Ogle or kin to the Ogles.
Somewhere along the line they
Somewhere along the line we got.
Well, where did the Reagan name come in at?
Oh, he came along and married one of the Ogle girls.
Oh, that's it. No,
He married one of the boys, one of the 5 Ogle boys' oldest daughter, the Reagan. See, and my husband is half Reagan.
Is that right?
So,
The Reagan is spelled the same as the president's name. Is there any
yes,
connection that you know
well,
of?
we've written him, and he said he didn't know the connection, but he had to be, because wasn't all that many Reagans here in the beginning, way back yonder 200 years ago.
Probably is.
So if he'd go back far enough, he'd
I
find
bet
it.
he would. He's an Ogle, probably.
Yeah, he might have been half Ogle, mightn't he? Gatlinburg in the beginning was practically made up of Ogles. And Greenbrier was Whaley's, see, the Whaley married one of the Ogle daughters. He married Mary Ann.
Where do the Bales come in? I noticed they have a house here.
Yes, they do, but they just probably married Ogle. Oh, I know they married a Reagan.
Ogle was about the first
They
man.
lived on Roaring Fork, the Reagans
He had a
did.
bunch of daughters, and they married Whaleys and Reagans.
Well, it was 2 daughters. The widow Martha Husky Ogle brought 5 boys and 2 daughters. One was married to a McCarter. Later she married a Whaley, and the other one was married to, well, she was married to Whaley, and then they married Owenbys. So there you put the Ogles amongst the Owenbys and the Ogles amongst the Reagans. And really, and even the Huffs even were belonged with, that was what was funny. One day I said, I didn't know one of my mother's grandmothers that was married to an Ogle. I didn't know her maiden name. And she said, why, we were Huffs. So to the Andy Huff at the Mountain View Hotel, I'm kin to those girls, all of them. But shoot, I grew up before I found that out. I got to be an old woman.
Well, you didn't
See,
like
it's
that.
we're everyone a kin, and they'd better not talk about each other
That's
either.
right, yeah.
Now, do I have to come in and talk? There used to be a plum tree here, and they were mighty good. And then the crib was where my playhouse was right along down there. But you have to think now, these tulip trees have grown up in recent years. A lot of this was cleared land with gardens and truck patches, as we call them, potato patch.
You feel like doing one more walking and walk down to the other door, the kitchen door.
Down where the water thing is.
Uh-huh. That's good.
Here's where the water.
Uh-huh. The water?
Yeah, this was where it ran first where the Maltese cross was.
Uh-huh.
And all Granny had flowers, the wild ones are all in there.
Are they? Yeah, I took some wildflowers out here last week.
That's some Leucosia, and that's a botanical name. We used to call it dog hopper.
Oh, yeah.
And all the little wildflowers we had. I'm just going to tell you the names of some of the wildflowers that we had. There was doll's eye, and that was called by the seed
I
pod.
remember seeing that.
And we had Fairy's Wand, and Columbine I always called Tinkerbell.
That's a pretty one.
It's prettier than Columbine is.
That's a pretty flower. So that's Bullhead Mountain back there. Blue top.
Yeah, we used to go up there and gather what do you call that? Rosin?
Uh-huh.
And I'd always say we got the rosin from the she-ball.
Uh-huh.
And that was Fraser's fur. And we send it it off, sell it. And it's off a real good price. They used it for photography, John Morel said, in the beginning.
Uh-huh.
This is fun. Showing off. Bill Hooks made us one we ate it. Did he take the rest of it? You can take half. We can just cut cardboard and all and let him take it over to the station.
Well, happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Are you telling how old you are?
Yep, I'm telling how old. Let's see. Major Muffley said, I said, oh, I'm 70. And he said, no, you're not. You got to add 6 years to it. Yeah. 70 is 70 years, and I'm 76. So he had to add 6 years to my age. He's a regular killjoy. Yeah, it made me older. I thought I was just 39. 39 and count. Oh, and holding, isn't it? Oh, it's time to cut me on. Howdy, I'm Lucinda Oakley Ogle, and on my birthday, June the 9th, I'll be 76 years old, and I've been around these mountains all this time.
Invite people to the Sunshine Show.
Shall I invite them?
Yeah.
Well, we'd love to have you come and watch, and then remember to come and visit us again.
Well, what time is the Sunshine Show?
It's supposed to be at 3 o'clock,
Okay,
I think.
let's join them there.
Gee, we're getting ready to go live, and I don't see anybody here. I don't know where. This is our first live broadcast of the Sunshine Show, totally live with no videotapes. Oh wait, here come some people. Oh, hi guys. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Very happy to be
I'll be talking
here.
with you in just a minute.
I'm looking forward.
Oh, well, people are just coming left and right. Hi. You're Teresa, right?
Heidi.
You're Heidi, that's right. This is Teresa. I did get it mixed up. I said I probably would. You're not Heidi, you're Teresa. Hi, Teresa. Okay. And, oh, we've got another guest coming. Oh, hi, Lucinda. Here she is. Hi there. Oh, it's good to see you. Come on in. Shall we go on in?
Good evening.
Good evening there. Hello, Eric. Yeah, let's go on in here. Okay, now let's see. I think you're going to sit here first. And let's come on over. And let's see. I guess, who am I going to, I'll give this mic to someone. Okay. Okay. First of all, I would like to say that we are being broadcast live for, we've been broadcast live, but this show is totally live. And so you're going to find out what it's all about to do a live, totally live television show. Here you go. Okay. And if you would like, we'd like to have you stick around and see the rest of the show, Don. Okay. Okay. There you are. Now, you're going to hold that? You're not going to hold
You
that.
will hold that. See if I can find a place to click.
That way you can put it on. Okay, for all of you who do not know, I doubt there's many people out there in the audience that do not know you. This is Lucinda Ogle. She calls herself sometimes the Wild Lady, and I think
Because
that's
I like
not
it.
because she's wild. I think it's because she loves wild flowers.
Wild things.
All
All little animals belong.
Now, we're not going to talk too much, and we're not going to ask the questions that have been asked you so many times about what it's like growing up as a kid in the Smokies. We're not going to talk about the fact that your grandparents lived at Jungle Brook and built it. We're not going to talk about that. We're not even going to talk about what the first time that you saw an actual tourist come into the Smoky Mountains or into Galveston.
That might be interesting.
Would be interesting, but maybe that's
Still
another.
be running.
Really? Okay. We're not even going to talk about Gatlinburg too much. We'll probably get into that a little bit. But we are going to talk about something that's coming up that I think is just one of the great things about this area. and that is the Wildflower of October.
This is the last weekend.
It is coming up, it's right around the corner, it's April the 25th, 26th, and 27th. Now, how did this start? They say this is the 35th annual Wildflower October.
It will be the 35th, and I hope I don't get poison ivy this time. I've had it 34 times.
You've had it 34 times?
Yes.
Well, that's all I know.
And I had a birthday cake one time. I guess it was my 30th one. But anyway, how it started, this was that many years ago. I lived downtown, closer downtown at that time, but I saw in the paper, in the Gatlinburg Press, I just posted it. I didn't want it to run at that time. And it said they were going to have a meeting on the University of Tennessee and the Smoky Mountain National Park. Botanists were going to meet, and they would welcome the public to come and join in. And it's to be all about wildflowers. Well, I had all sorts of names that belonged to wildflowers, but they were my common names and ones that my father had named them.
Give me an example of that.
And so there were 10 of us children, and when he'd be out with us and we saw a little plant we thought was pretty, we'd say, "Dad, what's that called?" And he'd say, like, fire wand, this little plant that little shoots white thing with long stars on it. And then another one that I always called column, what we call column now was Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell, I like it.
And
Looks like a little Tinkerbell.
and the dog's eye goes by the sea. The sea pod looks like a dog's eye. And then there's so many people. And then Hearts of Busting with Love, I must mention.
Now, I've heard a rumor about that.
Well, I still swear to it that my father named it, and since he was guiding a lot of the botanists from other parts of the country at that time, they was the one that started first to put it in the papers that Wiley had found Hearts Busting with Love. And then there's many other names that he would well, some of them look like what they are, they're plants.
Right.
A lot of things you name because it looks like something you've seen.
It's amazing the number of
Well,
plants.
now,
and
this would be a
flowers.
good time for me to bring in about a crow's foot.
Okay.
I often wonder if the Beverly Hillbillies didn't talk about cooking crow's foot, cooking crows, because of the mountain. They'd learned it somewhere that the mountain people thought we used crows. Well, we don't. It's a beautiful little plant that grows along streams and has a little leaf that looks like a crow's foot. It's free from.
Yes, I know.
And it's really, the botanical name is Dipteria. And if you have a sandwich with meat, go into the woods and you want something and don't have any mustard ready, well, one of those leaves is equal to a teaspoonful of homemade mustard.
And it has that mustard flavor.
Exactly.
That's
And it's
nice.
delicious. I used to go with this lady hiking in Michigan, and she'd say, "Lucinda, hunt me up some of those leaves with that crow's foot to put in my sandwich."
Well,
So, and it is just as good if you like mustard on anything. It's
what else is
good.
blooming right now?
There's just about everything's popping out of the ground. And yes, the ones at Jungle Brook are not pink yet, but when that means, when they turn pink, so that Florida, that means that they're going to come. But going back now to how we started the wildflower program. When I saw that advertisement that anybody was welcome, I gathered me up case of the Coke bottles, washed them good and clean, and then I went out and gathered me one of each of the flowers that I didn't know their scientific name. So I decided that I'd educate myself and be a little smarter. But I still just revert right back, call them the common names. And this day I couldn't tell you what I had in all 24 bottles. But when I got over to the I carried it and went to the Greystone Playhouse. It was over across the river here, back of it. And when about the middle of the day, it just started pouring the rain. And so my wildflower display became the most popular thing of the whole of the whole thing. Then they sit down and I don't know if it was the park naturalist that helped me with the scientific names, put along with my common. I had common names for all of them. like Leucothea was dog hobble. Of course, now I call it Leucothea because there's too many dog hobbles of different ones. So I didn't keep
I've
calling
always
it
liked,
that.
I work with plants, and I've always liked the common names because I think and they change. You can go 20 miles away and a plant has a totally different common name.
That's what I found more
It's kind of
recently.
interesting. So now the University of Tennessee and the Smoky Mountain National Park, when did the garden club, the Gallenberg Garden Club
Well,
begin?
see, Mrs. Stupka was Arthur Stupka's wife. So she says it's so popular, Lucinda, let's start doing a display every year. So that kind of started, and I've been with it every year yet. I hope I'll be able to have a little this year. Of course, I'm sort of retiring from work.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't believe that. Well, I look at this program, and there's just an amazing number of activities that are happening.
Yeah.
More, I think, than ever before. And there's hikes and walks, there's discussions, there's exhibits.
Anybody goes on them will come back happy, I think.
There's an illustrated talk, there's just, I mean, I don't know if you can see this. I don't know if the camera can even go in on it, but if you can, you'll see that this is full. And each one of these little paragraphs is an event that is happening. And that's this side. Can you see that? That is events that are happening. I'll move it a little bit. That is all events with the wildfire pilgrimage. And the other side is full. So, I mean, you've got your choice. They start, I think the first one starts at 8:30 in the morning. And the last one I see down here is at 8 p.m. No.
On Saturday,
Let's see.
the last one is on Saturday.
Yeah, I think it'd be safe to say they go from about 8 in the morning to 8 at night, with the one a little bit longer. And now there's something that I have found always, I don't know how much time we have, but I have always found to be one of the most interesting and exciting things about living in this area. And that is, when you were a child, you had to grow the food, and then you had to know how to get that food through the winter so you would have food to eat all winter.
Right, you had to store it.
You had to store it.
Fix it somewhere.
So you had such things as squash, you had potatoes. How long would apples last?
Well, the potatoes would be put in, we call it potato hoe. Line it with straw, and then put your potatoes in there, that's out milk. And then put straw over it, and then boards, shingles that would run the water off. And you use those little potato hoes, which I'm going to say. That's something. Thing I would add in here. One time, some tourists were asking a little boy. Have you heard that?
No.
Asking a little boy, there's plenty about mountain ways and living, and he said, I'll tell you how we live. Said, how did he live? And he said, I'll tell you how we live. Said, we live on tourists in the summer, potatoes in the winter.
Tourists in the summer, potatoes in the winter. Well, things haven't changed.
Then
that much in
these
Gallup.
people came on down to my little shop where I kept the shop, where I made things in puzzle for 30 years. And so they came on down there, just people to that. And I've heard it now, they even tell it at their music shows. But I could even say the little boy's name.
Well, who was the little boy?
She couldn't tell.
Sure, why not?
It was Joe Cole, but he's a grown
Yeah,
man
he's not
now.
really so
But he had the little black eyes and just twinkle, you know.
Okay, now, so you had to store all this food, and then spring started creeping in. What was the first wild plant that you would get in the spring?
The one I always watched first, somebody else may watch first, a paddock or one of the others, but I always went for sailing artichokes. It smells so good. So I know these little sheltered places. I go get them and I clump of it, and I said, boy, that really smells. I wonder, I smell those perfume on people, and I thought, gee, I put it around on me, and I come back down the hill, and I think, well, I smell like a fine lady. Just children playing.
Right.
But now remember, we had to make our own playthings.
Oh,
We
yeah.
didn't have what they have today, but our life was busy.
I bet you couldn't find enough time to
To do what we
do
wanted.
what you wanted to. What was the first fresh green that you could find in the springtime?
you, like I said before, a mess of greens, you just get a little bit of everything. And of course, not everything either. Things that our grandparents knew that you could eat.
Right. But there was a lot available that were just native plants to the Smoky Mountains that were edible.
I guess that's one reason to make people stay healthy. You know, you're supposed to have so much green things in your meal.
Right.
It's scurvy or something like that.
I guess that
But I think most mountain kids were pretty healthy.
by the end of the long winter, when you were down to the dried beans and potatoes and
We found out that was the healthiest. We were eating the healthiest food we could have.
beans and rice.
Beans and
was perfect.
potatoes and
She
milk
liked rice.
and eggs. We didn't have rice.
Didn't have rice.
You have to go back in wet country. And
Right, you couldn't.
Yeah, that's in where the water flows.
Right. So now, this time of year, April, you would be out in the woods picking greens. Was poke ever picked in this area?
Oh, yes, and it was used that you would have to parboil it and wash it 3 times. Boil it a little while and wash it 3 times. You're safe to eat it.
I've always
And
heard that.
it's a really one of the medicinal
Did
plants.
you ever eat any dandelion greens?
Oh, of course,
Did you ever hear of dandelion wine?
yes,
That's made from the blooms.
it is.
So,
We didn't make much of that.
Didn't make much of it?
We made moonshine.
oh, you made moonshine. So when you're making moonshine,
No,
you
my
don't
people didn't
need.
say, come and, they shoot me when I leave here. If I said they made moonshine, but we did have moonshine.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing that is so exciting to me about this wildflower pilgrimage is that so many of what we call a wildflower, they're actually a wild herb, and many of them have uses and have had uses, medicinal uses here throughout history. And of
Like
course,
the famous ginseng.
oh yes,
That makes a nightmare move too.
that was one of
I'm
the.
glad your parents thought it brought back use to them.
Right.
Many persons make money from selling ginseng.
What are some of the other plants that you can think of as you were growing up? Let's say you got sting bite or you got a bad cold. Did your mother make a tea out of some of the local plants?
Oh, yeah. Because there's a pesky little, what we call ground itis, they make tea for babies. Sometimes I wish there wasn't any babies. It's all over my yard, all over through my place now. And I pulled for 2 days.
And you still have it?
Still have it.
So maybe
Ground
you can pull it
itis,
and
it's still over the ground.
chill it.
There's another name for it.
Right. Like Jack and Jill.
Yes, it's still over the ground. It's ground ivy, and it has all sorts of names. That's a good medicinal plant. They make tea for babies when they call it hives when there's crying or sleep or twitch or something like that. They make them hot tea, and I wonder if sometimes it was not a little bit of sugar they put in it that made it
Could have been.
light it in the
I really
quick fry.
believe, yeah, I believe in
And then
you.
my grandmother used to get what we call yellow root. And you straight piece of that. It's just a yellow dough. And it was good pigeon nest.
Is that right?
And then, if I had my list, I kept the list, you couldn't remember it
Right.
all.
But you know, it's one of the sad things to me is that
That we've lost
That
it.
we've lost
Well,
one.
a druggist, Joe Little, that made really told me that, Lucinda, you'd be surprised at all the medicines that are still in the drugs. That they still use that our brain used to do.
Is that right? Of course, I think a lot of them now, they use chemical formula.
Sometimes, I wonder, sometimes you're allergic to them.
Right.
And if they give you a little bit of tea of the others and try it out and you first, when you get it off,
course you
swallow a
have.
whole pill and then make you allergic.
You had lots of honey.
That you have.
And
My grandfather had, both grandfathers kept me.
well, I've always heard if you take the honey that's produced locally and you eat it right along during the year, that you won't have the hay fever problems and the sinus problems that a lot of people suffer.
It really is medicinal.
It is. It's the golden fruit of the
And I've known people put it on a
cut.
cut. They say it's disinfectant. And honey can't be poisonous, don't hurt. I mean, it won't hurt you even if somebody's not too clean. It sanitizes it from the jar.
and it lasts forever, from what I've heard. It might cost
It's
a
real
lot.
wildflower now. They feed the bees honey and turn it
Right.
sugar something.
Right. Well, we're beginning to run out of time, but now let's make sure that everyone understands that this is the 35th annual wildflower pilgrimage.
Yes, and that's something I want to stress more than anything else. We never dig plants in the park area. Those are protected. We want to leave them. We go to places where they're making new developments and ask the people if we can dig our samples. All we get is one little plant, and we look for the one prettiest
Right.
and bring in. And that I really want to do. And then we see to it that they're protected.
Just a little pig now.
Oh, that.
You made this.
Well, now, I'm always at something other now. I work with the wildflower business. This is for our festival of trees.
Okay.
When we have just before Christmas, we have a child's table. Part you went that.
Oh, yeah.
And that has things that we let the children buy for a nickel or a quarter or something. So Martha there, when it works with us, told me about seeing little pig, but she tried to tell me what it looked like. And so I said, well, she got the patent and I got the word. And we were making them. We're making them already, about 200 made up. But you have to make. We're working on things for Christmas. Show them that for our.
And that's a wonderful area.
We sell those to pay for our trees.
Bet you love Gatlinburg and Smoky
Well,
Mountain.
you can tell when I talk, because I love every minute.
I think it's the
You
greatest
can
place in the
translate.
world.
I'd die sure if you translated me somewhere.
So you're a delicate wildflower.
That's not why I say I'm a wild woman,
Okay.
like everything wild.
Well, that's great. Well, we have really enjoyed having you come, and I want to tell everyone, be sure, so many locals here, they get so busy in their daily lives that they forget the activities that are happening locally. They think it's planned for the tourists, and that is not true. The Wildflower Pilgrimage is something that lasts a weekend you can enjoy, so please give yourself a gift. Go down and take in some of the tours, some of the activities for the Wildflower Pilgrimage. I'd like to thank you very, very much for coming and being on our show this week. I hope we get to do this more often.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk some more about herbs.
So let's just continue taking. We're off the air live, but we can still talk. So John or anybody else, let's have a free-form talk now
Yeah.
with Lucinda.
I think that's great.
And
So we're just...
drag your hair on those.
Bring
Did I do all right?
You did fantastic. I just was interested, it has nothing to do with plants, but you happened to bring up Playhouse. You said, at the beginning of your conversation with Ed, you brought
Greystone
up
Place.
the Grace Playhouse. And
That
I-
was where it held first. That was right at the Howard Johnson's part of their.
Right, the Greystone Hotel there, is that where
Yes.
the
See,
Playhouse?
Dick Whaley built the Greystone Hotel.
Right.
It was a hotel first, just after the World War II,
Mhm.
or along about that time. Then he built it's still there, isn't it? A big building along there. Maybe they had what we call playhouse. It was a big building.
And
you know, did you know there was Huff's Playhouse too? They had the Huff House up in there, and there's one there, and I think that was still.
Live plays.
And we used to have our Christmas show there. We used.
So now, did you,
We
like,
first
was there
had-
entertainment during the summer? Were people,
Mhm.
was it local? Was it
Yeah,
community
that's we
theater?
held
or-
community occasions there.
Right. Well, I'd heard that years ago, of course, they had a professional company in here that had used the school theater for a while.
Oh,
But
the
they had been-
other day, somebody, I believe it was on this one, was talking about the Red Barn. You did one about I used to.
I know the old
I
melodrama,
used
The
to-
Red Barn.
I
Yes.
used to go there to sit on bales of hay and watch the silent movies.
Where was
Isn't
that?
old?
Where was that?
Up the back of the Huff House,
Wow.
up in there, you know.
I would love to see some of
Not,
that. Yeah.
yes, right close to the Huff House, but it was, that Red Barn, it's the school back of the Airmont.
Mm-hmm.
It's back of Airmont now.
Right. And that was one of the
And they're
old places.
using it for living quarters, I think,
see,
now.
I see.
But it was, I first moved in, you'd just be listening away to move in, and the horse would stomp and snort down below, and the cows football and little cast, so we had extra entertainment while we were watching our
That's
silent
wonderful.
movies.
That's
And
wonderful.
then later and then along about, see, we had our own light plant in the beginning. I used to have just a regular photogenic mind, but I'm losing it fast. I tease them and tell them I'm getting Hammer's disease. I started forgetting. What was it I told Lou the other day, wasn't it? There's 3 things. Told you was getting old, and I'd already forgotten the second.
So I've heard that, it wasn't that long ago, maybe 15 years ago, or maybe a little longer, that, I think it was when Mills Auditorium had just been built, that there was summer stock that came from New York. And
Yes,
had
we had.
big productions, and that they were
And
well.
did real well. It
Yeah.
did. Oh, it was fun. We'd all, and then of course, the first thing now I remember was Grady's barn dance. And we had, square dancing.
Oh, right.
And then every
Where
once in a
was
while
that?
somebody would, that was, let's see, where Crossroads is now. And I lived just on where, we owned the place where Martin's house, their antique shop. I sold antiques and made unwove and did things, to sell.
Right.
I said, so I could send my kids, children to college, get a better education than I did, because I didn't get that. But,
You learned a lot.
yeah, I've been here a long time. But I've lived every day too.
Well, the only advanced theater that we have
But it's like I said to Lou, the nicest people in the world come here. The ones that are moving, and I love them all, even just as much as I did my relatives. Of course, we were close-knit families, all of us, big families. There's 12 in my family, and 12 children, I mean,
Right.
besides Mom and Dad. But one day I told Mrs. Christensen, and she said that made her feel better than anything else, that I was just tickled to death that she pulled up stakes somewhere else and came here, and how much we enjoyed having them. And, well, nice people are the ones that have
How
settled
long have you
here.
lived in that particular location where you live now?
Just about 20 years, but we owned it. We bought the 2 acres back when, just after the World War II. And we built a log house when Ernest came home from service. And you had to walk a foot log to buy it. Just watch how fast things are moving. And I don't want anybody to say anything about, we didn't have time to do any planning for Gatlinburg. It was just grew like topsy. It just grew all at once.
Well, also Gatlinburg
And
is
you
not
didn't
limited,
have,
too.
and you didn't have the space.
That's right.
We just grew and grew, didn't we?
They certainly
And
did.
I said, well, if they don't want to come up to town and go bumper to bumper, just go the bypass. You can go to bypass that goes into the park over there. And car, you don't find about half a dozen cars on that road, while this one's bumper to bumper. And then when I see it bumper to bumper up the ski resort now, I said, well, they can't put all those cars up there, pretty soon we're gonna have to stop them. Then I'll say to myself, well, somebody's paying up money to borrow, and you don't get rich off of it. They say Gatlinburg's rich as it can be. Everybody had all their bills paid, it wouldn't be that rich.
Let me pause for a minute. Give me about 5 seconds and then do a little bit more. And if anybody else has any questions?
Okay, we've stopped our live broadcast, and we just had the great opportunity to sit here and continue talking with Don and with Lucinda. And if any of y'all have any questions out there, that's you people out there, ask. This is too great an opportunity to let it go, and Lou wants to get it on tape, so that's what we're going to do. How many wild plants do you have on your place? It just must be packed, isn't it?
I get it for the best ones for the 80. I have about every year. But now that includes limbs off of trees.
Right.
Oh, yeah, there's something else I want to tell on this.
Say.
To you is the sarvice tree.
Sorry.
The shadbush or sarvice tree is in bloom right now, or sarvice tree. And this is the time of year, when long ago, that the circuit rider preacher would come around, see after the winter's over, not a real bad winter, he'd come around and he'd preach funerals for all that died that winter, and he'd marry all of them that all have been married. You know,
Yes,
that's
the ones that had sort of married already.
yeah, usually the justice of the peace would say a few words over them, and then they'd wait till the circuit rider came around, and that's why it got called the service tree. So when you look up right now and see a pretty white lacy tree, of course there's the silver bell trees that got in bloom right now too, but it comes usually a little later than the service tree or service tree.
The service or service tree was a sign that it was time the preacher would come and marry those that needed it, and bury those that needed it, so that's interesting.
And marry all of the girls that married out there, so that's the cutest part about it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great. We were talking about, live theater here in Gatlinburg. When you were a little girl, what was the entertainment like? What would y'all do?
But in the beginning, well, and even after, we always called it the greatest barn dance, and my daughters would go square dancing and any folk dancing, like the Virginia Reel and that, I like myself. But some of the, and then we used to, when I stayed at the dormitory, when I was first one, we used to go over to Harbor Reagan's, and he'd have a fiddling, little thing that teach us Popeyes and go with us, and we'd have the grandest time listening. And Shane's grandmother used to sing. She'd, while her grandfather, that would have been another one of his grandfathers. And he was a dandy fiddler or banjo, he was playing time. And then Amos Trenum was another one that was real, the Reagan singing Harbor Reagan. Amos Trenum, I remember. And another was, that were, real old timers. And I know after I had my shop built on the street, Red Maples used to come down there and ask me, now this is before you had any of the little bands up and down the street. He'd come and ask me if he could sit on my steps. He found out that if he'd sit there and play his banjo, that people would give him, as they moved, and they were enjoying it, they would give him money. And then he'd bring me some prettier, he'd bring me some wildflowers to sit out, because I'd let him sit on, and I said, well, I won't charge you to sit on my steps. You can just welcome to come anytime you want to. I'd wait, and then the other people, I've always loved old people, and then now I'm old people myself. But now you're going to hear I jump about sometimes with things I tell, because I think of something.
Yeah, well, it is interesting. I mean, in a city area, there would be live theater and things like that coming in, and in the rural areas here, you were really putting it together yourself.
Sometimes I go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
When Gatlinburg was just beginning to get the first tourists.
When was that? When do you remember saying the first actual tourists, not loggers, not people coming in?
Wouldn't know what year to say it now, because think a while. But we all know that Dad, while they opened, I thought it was first guy to the Smoky Mountain to make the Smoky Mountain National Park. And he picked those men that were helping buy up the land and take them and show them, places, and that's how I think that people loved it so much. And he could just make you love a place. It's like I try to.
Yeah.
I try to show people what I see that that people don't always see. I always laugh when somebody says, what is it to see here? That just makes me mad as far when they come in the shop and say, and they just drive straight through. I say, I guess you made a quick trip over the mountain, did you? And I said, why didn't you stop and look out? Those mountains, as Dad said, just keep on and keep it on.
I had someone a couple of years ago who actually said this, actually said it. They wanted to know what there was to see, and I said, well, have you visited the park? And they said, well, I don't think so. Where is
the
it?
park?
And I said, well, it's up this road right there. I said, well, we came over from Cherokee and we didn't see it. And she meant it. She didn't see a single Ferris wheel or
I think it's true with everyone. If you don't find beauty and love and things like that, you just don't find it.
Right. I'm amazed, everybody has that the problem of not going to things that are close by. I mean, there are a number of people that live here in Gatlinburg that never go into the park. They've gone into the park years ago,
And that's the reason they moved here.
Yes, in the first place, and it is interesting, you know. Now, I mean, we have to go up really at least every so often, and we suddenly realize every time over again how wonderful and beautiful it really is.
I call it meditate.
Yes.
You go up and meditate, and like the little stream, you can go find you the smallest one. It'll make the most noises if you'll just be quiet. And as old as I am, I just love that hayride in Cage Cove. I wish they'd go every night so we could go different, you know, not too many. They have let you listen to the quietness and see what you can hear.
And when is this hayride? I don't know anything about
They
it.
have, I believe in July they're going to start. I already sent my reservation in. I want to be sure of me one of them.
They go after dark.
They go after dark.
You searchlights to point out animals, don't they? But I've never been on either.
And then you have a quiet time and see how many sounds you can hear. And you'd be surprised at the sounds. And when you're back in that Shangri-La country and nothing, of course you're naturally going to hear a cowbell or a calf or that. They do keep some cattle there. But you can hear, sometimes you hear wildcats call.
I bet the hayride you went on as a young girl were a little bit different
Same,
than that.
a little bit. We used to go over Hickam Hill, go over and play ball. I was guard when we first started basketball. And guard. And they used to play one little patch. Now they play all over the thing. I thought I could do that. You could garden in one little place. But times have changed so fast that I forget when it did change. Just like you said, we've had a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything has been in Gallup. You don't have to go off to amusement. And,
Well, in the 10 years that we've been here, we've seen drastic changes. So you must have seen just incredible changes from
yes,
the last 30 or 40 years in particular.
there's most mountain women go on talk. There's other people have just as interesting life as I have. But I found out that a lot of people are interested. And those that aren't interested don't have to listen.
Right. Good point. Any of y'all have any questions?
Shane had a question. Shane, what was your question?
Well, when I was driving the car, you wanted to answer, you said that when y'all was courting, so like, now it's a lot harder to go courting. I was like, people everywhere now, and there is. But back then, I imagine that the town really wasn't.
It wasn't all that many people.
Right.
I know, because you said that y'all
And it isn't any meaner now than it was then. There just wasn't as many people.
whenever the Baskin's Creek, there.
Oh, yeah. That's,
And I imagine then there wasn't any done. It was just rare.
And there are some homes that have asked things.
oh, yeah. There's communities up every one of these creeks and hollers. Oh, you do. And now if you go hiking on, I brought you a map somebody can look over, and it tells you what I tried to do in that map was give credit to the one that built the little log cabins and lived in the places way back in the mountains. And then sometimes I put the first one and the second one that lived there. The one that built it, I've got Uncle George, your great-grandpa Shane, where he had their place. Gee, how many years ago was that?
Shane is actually.
He's kinfolk to me.
Really?
Yeah, wherever one can. I'll tell you, if you don't want to
I'm
make
amazed
it,
that you admitted it.
what you do, if it's somebody you want to ask them, if they've always lived here, don't say a native. Sometimes they get objected. You just say, are you a Baptist or a Ogle one?
An Ogle.
You have to be an Ogle or a Baptist, and then you've always been in Gatlinburg or Sevier County. We've everyone that's blood kin. And somebody come here one time and checked the people. They thought, married and intermarried, and they said they weren't a bit worse. And the lady was from Brooklyn. Where is it so congested in New York?
Well, Manhattan and Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. I think it was Brooklyn because
Yeah.
the book that she did on the mountain people here was in the University of Tennessee, and boy, was we mad at first. And then she, on the very last, she was even measuring her heads and all of that, and then then I got into it, and I still have to tell this one, if you don't already have it. I've repeated it. I wrote an article for the press one time, and I said, it sure was a good thing the Smoky Mountain National Park was established when it did, and my children could get new blood, so we wouldn't all be marrying to new blood, so we wouldn't all be half-wits like me. Well, I just said it on myself. I didn't say everybody. I just kidded. But really, this lady, this Carter, that did that, said she found more Christian kids here than anywhere else. She said they couldn't be from being kinfolks. And then Shane doesn't know it, but the Ogles were aristocrats. They married in King Edward. We were kin to King Edward I. But how in the world did we get up here in this country shut off on everything
Maybe
else?
the king sent you?
What?
Maybe the king sent you?
No, they always going west to get rich, weren't they? Find the gold.
Well, we've got to wrap it up here, and again, we've wrapped it up live, and now we're wrapping it up today, but it's really been a pleasure. We're going to spend some more time together.
I like people.